The Digital Real Estate Secrets Podcast, episode 22, Why I Almost Quit Rank and Rent. Let's do this thing, guys. Let's get right into it. My name's Nick Wood. If you don't know who I am, I've been doing this 9 years. I try to cover this every episode just so the people that are new to this know what I'm talking about. But when I say this, when I say I've been doing this, I'm talking about renting simple websites. Digital real estate, same thing as website rentals, same thing as rank and rent, whatever. There's a bunch of different names for it, okay? The model is very simple. Pick a city and a niche. Build a website, rank the website, rent the website out. That's it. Done. Okay. Do it again, do it again, do it again. And you're going to make passive income doing it. Now, of course, that's a very high level view, but that in a nutshell is what the business is. I've been doing this for a long time. I've made a lot of money doing this business model of literally picking cities and niches, building simple websites, ranking them and renting them out. In 2020, we made 7 figures. In 2021, we made another 7 figures, like $1.5 million, 1.45. And then at the end of 2021, we decided to start teaching this. So before we ever opened our mouths, before I ever started telling people, hey, here's how you do this, here's how you do that, I had made multiple 7 figures doing this model. Okay. And I'm telling you that because you're probably on this episode going, why should I listen to this guy? Who's this guy? Maybe he's just another one of those people that's speaking from theory. Everything that I share from experience. And if I do go out on a topic that I haven't done, I always let you know, hey, I've actually never done this. I've never tried this niche, but here's what I think will happen, okay? So, guys, I want to jump right in the episode today and share my story. And the reason why, my goal and my promise for this episode, I want to share my story. And you should know that I actually quit and came back and almost quit again. And when I say why I almost quit rank and rent, what I'm referring to is why I almost walked away forever, okay? But what's interesting is I actually made money. I landed my first 2 deals and then quit doing rank and rent, right? And that's the story that I want to share. That's the part that I'm like, man, if I would have walked away, I would have missed out on such an opportunity. Now, maybe I would have never known what I could have become or what I could have done in this space. But I think personally it would have been one of the biggest regrets of my life, okay? So, guys, let's get into the episode. I want to just dive in, keep it short and to the point, and give you guys as much, as many nuggets, as much value. I'm kind of tired of saying as much value because everybody says that, but as many pointers and as many things that I possibly can that you guys can take and put into practice. And I will say this, if you watch this episode and you don't take at least one thing away, if you don't write down one thing to do, then I think it's a waste of an episode. I think it's a waste of the time that you spend listening to this episode. And this episode's not going to be long. It's not going to be super long. But make sure that when you're listening to this, that you write something down. Maybe it's something I say. Maybe it's something that comes to mind from what I say. But make sure you write something down that you can put into practice so that when you listen to these, you're actually moving the needle. And if you've never started, hopefully that I inspire you through this to start. To whatever that is. Maybe it's to grab my free training. Maybe it's to get into our Rank and Rent Academy where you can, check out the business model. Or maybe it's to apply for digital landlords. Or maybe it's none of that. Maybe it's the decision that you're not going to do this. But at least you've made a decision. Okay, so let's just make up your mind that you're going to do something with the information I gave you today. Okay, so let's get into this. Guys, real quick, want to start by telling you guys and reminding you guys of the backstory, okay? I got into this business in 2016. I was doing door-to-door sales, making really good money for a 24, 3, 4, 5, something like that. Making really good money for never going to college and working 5 months of the year. But I was really, really tired of moving my family across the country. And the thing that I was the most tired of is the fact that I knew that if I wasn't knocking doors, I was not making money, okay? That realization that if I got sick, money didn't come in. If I had a bad day, money didn't come in. If I wanted to take the day off to go with the kids, money didn't come in. That realization made me sick to my stomach. And I remember thinking, I'll knock doors. I don't care. I'll do the dirtiest work ever. I worked on a farm. I've done stuff. And within working on a farm, I've done some really just crappy jobs. Chopping sagebrush, like one thing that we used to do is my dad's a farmer, grew up on a farm, and as soon as we get done with the crops, all of our tractors would be covered in residue from the alfalfa hay, and it would all dry up and it would be like caked. It would be caked on, and on top would be dry. And one of the jobs he'd have us do is take a a pressure washer and go and literally clean the tractor. This huge John Deere tractor. And go figure, I'm allergic to alfalfa. I'm allergic to the product that my dad sells. So you can imagine me under there, and it's just like I'm feeling sneezy thinking about it, and it's just blowing in my face. And I remember times I'd have to just lay in the car with a wet t-shirt on my face because I was sneezing so bad. Those are dirty jobs, man. I've done dirty jobs. So I'm just telling you, I wasn't afraid to work. It was that I made up my mind, if I'm gonna knock doors, or if I'm going to call, or if I'm going to do cold calling, whatever, I'm going to do it for myself, okay? So I was desperate, guys, desperate to get out of it. So I'm doing door-to-door sales. I'm living in Huntsville, Alabama. At this point, I've made up my mind. This is 2016. I've made up my mind that I am going to be done doing door-to-door sales, okay? That's just it. So I went in. I was at least smart enough. Instead of trying to figure it out on my own, I bought a program, spent like $8,000 buying this program, which me and my wife did not agree on. She was not in, she was like, no, you got it, whatever, right? But I did it anyway because I'm like, you know what, I got to get out of the situation. And ironically enough, within the first 2 months of doing the training at night, kind of doing that like midnight oil side hustle thing, I landed my first 2 deals. I landed a towing deal. It's like $700 a month. And then I landed a crawl space encapsulation deal that they gave me $1,000 up front, and we agreed to $100 per lead once the lead started coming in. Not the best deal structure, but I didn't know what I was doing, right? So I made these 2 deals. I landed these 2 deals. I was making money from this thing that I had no idea how to build a website before. I bought this program. I started watching the videos, and I started doing the thing that they talked about, and I was making money, right? Imagine, I was making money, and if I would have been smart, I would have just gone, okay, I made $700. All I got to do is do that, like, 20 times, and I could be at like $15,000 a month, and I could be completely out of this door-to-door. I just got to do this 20 times. That's it, if I was smart, right? But what happened is this. I got done for the summer doing my door-to-door sales. I had those 2 deals, and I got back to Utah, which is where I'm filming this from. And people started, they knew that, like, hey, how's work? How's the summer? I'm like, yeah, I actually quit. I'm not doing door-to-door sales. And by the way, that was my identity at the time. That was what I did. I was a door-to-door guy and blah, blah, blah. Like all that was just who I was. So people were shocked. Wait, you're out of door-to-door. So what are you doing? What are you up to now, right? Like, how are you making money? And the first few people, I was like, yeah, I'm doing this website thing, and it's digital marketing and whatever. And guys, people's lack of enthusiasm for what I was doing. Oh yeah, that's cool. But anyway, so how's the kid? Like their complete lack of enthusiasm for what I was doing just completely disheartened me. Okay, and I know it sounds dumb, but like I thought it was really cool. I was excited, and people not being that interested in it and just being like, oh yeah, that's cool, but, or you could kind of hear that undertone. It just seemed like it was like, oh okay, here we go, another one of these guys, right? That like lack of enthusiasm just kind of like brought me down a bit, guys. And after a while of telling a few people about what I was doing, I started to just be like, dude, this is kind of lame. Like digital marketing is kind of lame. Maybe they're right. Like what am I doing? It's kind of just a lame career. And so guys, I quit doing this business model because it wasn't sexy. Okay. I quit it in late 2016 because I wanted to do something that was more sexy. I want to do something that when I told people about it, they go, oh, that's cool. Tell me about it. That's interesting. Not, oh, okay, cool. So how's the kids? Or, okay, so how's, your mom and dad? That's literally, I know that sounds lame. I know that sounds really childish, and it was. But that was the deciding factor for me because I didn't think it was sexy. And the truth is it's not, and it wasn't. But that's why I walked away, okay? And so, guys, let me tell you what I did from there on, or what I did instead, just really briefly. So, I decided this isn't cool. It's not sexy. I'm going to go do something that's more fit for me. Like, I'm better than this. I'm better than the digital marketing. I'm better than renting simple websites and working with tow truck guys and concrete. Dude, I'm Nick Wood, right? I had this big ego because I was good at door-to-door sales. I can imagine that. It's funny to think about now, but it was a real thing. And at the time, I was a really big connoisseur of this whole like Silicon Valley unicorn scene, and I would listen to all these stories and listen to podcasts by Mark Andreessen and just Ben, his partner Ben Horowitz, and I was fascinated by Sand Hill Road and all these, I watched The Social Network, and it really got me excited. All this stuff, and it was fascinating to me, right? And so I was like, that's the part, and the common thread with all those things was it was all tech, it was all technology, right? It was software, it was this, whatever. So you know what I decided to do, guys? I decided I'm going to start a software company. I don't know anything about software, but why not? I didn't know anything about sales, and I was successful. So my naivete, I think that's how you say it, got me into this game, this software game. And so anyway, one thing led to another. I got introduced to this guy, and essentially, just because everyone's going to know, what kind of software company? The idea was that we were going to build this platform where people that wanted to start the Uber of whatever. You guys remember that phase? If you're super young, you won't. But there was a phase back in 2014 to 18, and everyone was like, "Oh, I got a business idea." Yeah, what? The Uber of pens, the Uber of haircuts. Everything was the Uber of, and it was like, oh. And so finally, the idea was like, let's create a platform. People can come on, build their Uber of idea on our platform. We can have the framework for it. We can lower the dev cost for them, and then we can own part of the company, and they can also pay us a retainer. So on paper, it sounded like a pretty good idea, and it was such a popular thing. Uber of this, Uber of that. Everyone wanted to start an app. Everyone wanted to do whatever. And so to me, I was like, that sounds cool, man. That sounds really cool to like tell people, dude, I own a software company, right? From door-to-door salesman to tech billionaire, right? Like these are the kind of things that I'm thinking, and I can laugh about it now, but it was real. It's what I thought was going to happen, okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to build it. I'll probably sell it for 8 figures minimum, maybe even in like the 100 million plus kind of thing. Like obviously, like why wouldn't I, dude? I'm the door-to-door guy. Like if I could do that, I could do anything. So I called Kyle, which is my sales guy, my sales manager right now that works for us at the company. He works with us, not for us. And I called him and I said, hey, dude, and I had recruited him to do door-to-door sales. I said, bro, you got to join this thing. Here's the idea, blah, blah, blah. And I convinced him to quit doing door-to-door sales, which he had made like $100,000 the year before, and to move to St. George, Utah, which is in southern Utah, which is where I live right now, which is where I lived at the time, and to come and work with me to sell this software. And that he did. We convinced him. He brought his wife, didn't have any kids at the time. And guys, we just started hitting the phones. And we started hitting our warm markets. And we started just hustling. And we started pre-selling this software. Okay, that we'd never seen the code. The only thing we had was like a couple of screenshots of what the certain slides were going to look like, or certain, I guess you would call it screens on the app would look like. And this is what the developer had given us. We hadn't seen anything. We didn't know any better. We didn't know, hey, we should check the code. None of this, right? So we were pre-selling the software before it actually, came to fruition. And guys. Long story short, a couple things happened. Number one is I found out my partner, which was not Kyle, but somebody else, was addicted to drugs. Okay, now this isn't me going to go and blame it on that, because I take responsibility. I should have figured out or known or done some due diligence and been like, hey, this guy, he's a little off. Okay, anyway, found out he was addicted to drugs. And the other thing that happened was we never got any code from the developer. Okay, the one that we hired, we paid like 50, it was like 50, I think it was 50 grand, maybe 60 grand. We didn't see any code. And every single time we talked, when are we going to be launching? Well, and it was always, we're like a week out from beta. We're a week out from beta. Let's meet up. And then there would be this elaborate story of why it wasn't out yet. And it just kept being a week away from beta, a week away from beta. And meanwhile, guys, me and Kyle had pre-sold, I think, 5 clients on this software that had paid us cash. So we had the money into the software with the developer. We also had the money from the clients that now I had to make a decision whether I was going to give the money back or I was going to just file bankruptcy. I don't know. I didn't know at this point. And that leads us to July 28th, 2017. I'm sitting in my front living room, or my living room in not this house, different house. And my wife's asking me, she's like, so how's things going with the business? She can clearly tell that we're not making money. She knows it's a little sensitive because she's asked me a bunch of times, but she's starting to worry because she's seeing the bank account starting to dwindle from the money that we made from door-to-door sales. And I'm like, yeah, I talked to so-and-so, which is our developer, and he said it's going to be like 10 days or a week, and we're going to be doing beta. And she finally just looks at me and she goes, don't you see it? She's like, there is no business. There is no code. This guy's playing you. There is nothing, Nick. You're living, it's a pipe dream, right? You got to start taking care of the family. And she wasn't rude, but she was just like, she just showed that she was nervous, and she was like trying to wake me up from this slumber of me just telling myself this guy was not screwing us over. And that was the day of reckoning, guy. That was the day when I realized that my software business was a bust. That was the day when I realized that I was in a bad spot, because not only was I not making money, but I had all this money that I had to pay back. And I had people that were working with me, like Kyle, that we had to find a new home for. And I realized that I was in a bad position. It was July 28th, 2017. I remember the exact day because she said, you got to get a job. Like, you got to take care of the family. I don't care what it is. Why don't you call so-and-so, see if he can get you on? And I was like, I can't get a job. Like, I couldn't. And of course, if push came to shove, I'll do anything to take care of my family. But I just couldn't. My pride wouldn't let me. I'm like, give me 3 days. And we kind of calculated what we needed to pay the bills. And we needed like $3,000. And I said, I'll come up with $3,000 in 3 days. And if I don't, I'll go get a job. She gave me the 3 days. And I went, that was the day, the very next day, I humbly dusted off the training that I had purchased. What was it? At that point, it was over a year and a half earlier, or a year and 4 months earlier. I dusted off the training and I went to work as a digital marketer renting simple websites. July 29th, 2017, after being too cool, after being too good for the business model for over a year. I guess it wasn't quite over a year, because I had walked away and I'd been doing this for about 10 months, but I bought the training over a year before that. I went back to this unsexy business, okay? And I say digital marketer, not necessarily a website renter or rank and rent, because guys, I didn't have the ability to wait for money to come in. I had to go get cash up front. I had to go sell websites, sell SEO. I had to get money now to pay immediate bills now, okay? And so guys, I remember I got the $3,000 and went to my wife. She couldn't believe it. She's like, okay. And I said, well, I'm going to make $10,000 this month, which is August. And if I do, I'm not getting a job. Okay. So I got myself another month. I'm going to get him to hit $10,000. And she's like, yeah, okay, sounds good. Like, how are you going to make $10,000? You haven't made money in over a year. And I set the goal of $10,000, and I remember it was actually the last day of the month. It wasn't the very last minute of the last day of the last month, but it was like the morning of the last day of the last month. I was driving home from the gym and I ended up getting this guy on an SEO deal. He owned a bail bond company. And sure enough, I hit the $10,000. And I remember feeling so tired, but I felt so good that I hit that goal. And that was it, guys. And that was, I hit $10,000 that month. And I remember that first transaction, getting that first transaction after not making money, after chasing the software dream, after just spending money, and seeing that money come in. It was the best feeling to see, like, okay, yeah, it's $1,000. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go and work and now actually build the website and do the SEO. But I made money. I'm in the green. Like, it now, not really because of the debt, but I'm in the green, and I just put money in my bank. I didn't take it out. It was the best feeling in the world. It was like such a breath of fresh air. I can't even describe it. And I was like, I'll do anything to just make money and not spend it. Okay. And I do remember it was awesome, but well, let me just say this. Since then, guys, from that day, which was, again, July 29, 2017, I've been in the game of digital marketing at some capacity, okay? It didn't take me too long after that, 6 to 8 months, where I realized, hey, I got to get into the renting of the websites. I can't be doing I can't just be trading my time for dollars. That's not a winning formula to get rich. So I changed and obviously transitioned into the lead generation stuff, which is what I've been doing ever since. That was about mid-2018. And I was still doing stuff wrong, but at least I got into the lead generation stuff. But anyway, all that said, guys, what I want to share with that story is what I learned, the things that I learned through this experience of, getting into something that was boring and unsexy, thinking I was too good for it, and walking away because it wasn't sexy, and then coming back. And I see this so often. This isn't just me. I see this all the time when people will jump in, they're excited, and then I don't see them inside of my digital landlords program for a while, right? For example. And all of a sudden I'm like, where'd that guy go? Right? Sometimes it's people I know. I'll see him at the grocery store, I'll see him at the gym, and they're like, yeah, this thing took off, and my job took off, and blah 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 blah. And they're like, once again, back on top, and they're like, yeah, I just don't have time right now. And sure enough, within like 6 months, a year, sometimes it's a little bit longer, I start to see them in the group again, and they're starting to post. And it's like, I'll see a post like, hey, I went away, I got distracted, but I'm back, and I'm going to do this for real, and I'm tired of trading my time for dollar. I see it again and again and again. And sometimes people, they do it right when they start. Sometimes it takes them a little bit, and then they go away, and they just don't appreciate how good the business model is. Okay, so here's the things that I've learned. Number one, guys, is that tried and true businesses actually do work. You just got to go execute. Okay. Number two is when you're going out on your own to start your own business for the very first time, getting a business in the box type of a deal, one that shows you, a business that you're shown A to Z, soup to nuts, exactly what to do, is the best way to do it. Because guys, not only do you have to make that specific business work, but you don't even know how to make business work. Doing your own business, being your own boss for the first time is really, really difficult. So if you can have a system that shows you exactly what to do, and I'm not saying that you might watch this episode and go, yeah, I'm not really in on this website rental thing. That's completely fine. Whatever business you do, if it's your first time doing business, I highly recommend you go and find somebody that has a business in a box, whether it's a franchise, whether it's whatever it is, okay? And just do that for your first business, because there's so many things that can go wrong in business and so many things to learn that you don't even know the things that you have to learn, okay? That's one thing that I realized, like with the software company, if there would have been a business in the box, a training or a franchise I could have bought that said, hey, do this, and then here's how you check on your developers, and here's how you do this, and here's what to look for, and here's how you go to market, and here's how... That would have saved me so much time. Even if it would have cost me $50,000, I would have been a better spend of my $50,000 than going and wasting it on a software guy that didn't give us anything. Okay. Guys, next thing I learned is renting simple websites may not be sexy. It may not be as sexy as renting private jets or private jets, private planes, or selling exotic cars. But the freedom that it gives you once you actually are free, once you get out of the rat race, once your bills are paid for, that freedom, that's the sexiest thing in the world, man. It is the sexiest thing in the world, because you no longer have to work. Okay. Number 4, freedom is the goal. Okay. How you get there is less important, but make sure that whatever vehicle you are in can get you there. And that's the reality, guys. Door to door, it made good money, but it was never a business that was going to allow me to become free. Okay. And lastly, guys, the businesses and the things that no one wants to do are the very opportunities that you guys should be looking for. Okay. Nobody wants to go and build simple websites. You guys think that I like building websites on Weebly. You think I like dealing with tow truck guys and bail bond guys and freaking HVAC guys. I got no beef at all with them, but that's not necessarily like who my buddies are. Like if I'm just going out or hanging out, that's not necessarily who I am. Okay. It's not necessarily what I would spend my free time doing, is just chatting it up with people that do landscaping. Okay. Again, nothing wrong at all, but I'm just telling you, like, if you think for 1 second I enjoy doing backlinks, if you think I enjoy writing content, if I enjoy cold calling, I don't enjoy any of that stuff. Okay. But I love what it produces, the lifestyle that it produces. I'll do anything, man. I'll do anything. And this is such a simple business model that you can do from the freaking comfort of your house. It's incredible. Okay. So guys, in summary, in conclusion, guys, don't be too cool for this unsexy business. Okay. Because once you see the freedom that it can give you, you will see just how sexy your life can be. And I'm speaking from experience, because I walked away from it once. I almost walked away from it again in 2019. That time wasn't because I thought it was unsexy. It was because I didn't know if it was the right model, and I didn't know anybody that was making $1 million a year doing it. And so That's why I almost walked away the second time. But I finally, anyway, you guys know that story, or you'll hear it at some point. I've shared it before, but I, of course, ended up getting back into the game, recommitting myself at the end of 2019, and I was literally 8 months away from making $100,000 per month. So, anyway, guys, appreciate you being on this episode. Hopefully, from this, there was something that you wrote down, or that sparked your thoughts or something. Again, it's a lot of times you listen to these, it's not the thing that the person's saying, but it's something that they said that triggered you to think about this. Oh, I need to do this. I need to call this person. And that's the thing that you need to do. In fact, I actually had one thing that from something that I said that reminded me that I need to go do as soon as we get off this episode. So whatever that thing is, go and do it, guys. Again, appreciate you. I drop these episodes every single week on Thursday. So we'll see you guys next week. And don't forget, guys, we have a free training, rentsimplesites.com. If you guys want to check that out, it's like 5 to 7 videos. It's only like 30 minutes long, kind of give you an overview of the business model itself. That's the free training. You guys can also check out our Rank and Rent Academy, which is brand new. We did it like less than a month ago while the pricing is still low. And in that, you guys, there's 15 different mini courses. We have a great community, over 250 members. I go live once a week doing Q&A. We have another guy that does over $65,000 per month that I trained that does a live training every single week. It's a phenomenal community. I also have my little brother and one other guy that are in there as coaches for anyone that needs like quick 15-minute calls to answer questions. It's a phenomenal community. You can find that at rankandretire.com. Okay. Also, of course, you guys know about Digital Landlords. The link's in the description for those of you that are ready. And other than that, guys, all I got to say is what I've been saying to myself all year, and that is life is short. Let's go buy time. I'll see you guys in the next episode.